Lips like sugar, lips like sugar. Just when you think you've caught her, she glides across the water. She calls for you tonight to share this moonlight. You flow down the river, she'll ask and you give her lips like
sugar. Good morning. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobit Brinker.
And we are on The Brink, the morning show on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and FM 102.3. The sun's coming up. It's going to be a hot day because summer is here.
Woohoo! Welcome, summer. We love the summer.
Okay, you love the summer.
I do love the summer. I'm a public school teacher, though. Summer's like this is my holiday, extended holiday.
Yeah, you get 2 whole months off.
Heck yeah.
I don't know what I would do with myself if I had 2 months off.
Well, the first couple weeks you just sleep.
A couple weeks?
Yeah, it's like hibernation. We're like bears.
Tobin, I think it's most people the first couple days.
Okay.
So I have some tragic news to start the day off with. There was an accident in Bloomington that basically took the lives of an entire family. Well, at least all of the children. This happened on Slover Avenue, and a family, a mom and 3 children, ages 20, 17, and 13, were just taking a walk on a sidewalk, and a car that was speeding went out of control and hit them. It killed the children, but the mom survived. I can't even imagine.
Yeah, to lose basically the whole family, like you said, the kids in that instant is just devastating. And you and I, you made a donation first to the group, to the.
They have a GoFundMe page.
They have a GoFundMe. And I was sort of tangentially aware of the story. I hadn't really followed it, but I'd heard about it. And then when you told me and I started to know the details more, I'm like, oh, my God. And then I went and looked at the GoFundMe, and I'm just watching it as people are donating money. And, I think when you donated, it was probably like maybe 5,000 people had donated.
They're up to $21,305 now.
Wow, 21,000. The goal is 25,000.
They actually upped it. It's 35,000.
35,000, yeah. And that sounds actually more reasonable. I've heard somewhere it's $10,000 to $15,000 per funeral, right?
Well, I'm sure the memorial service will be for all 3.
Yeah.
So on June 24th, 2018, Maria Luna, I can't pronounce her last name.
Haragi.
Thank you, Haragi, and her 3 children, Angel, Jose Manuel, and Andrea, were taking a walk on a sidewalk close to their home. A vehicle was speeding on the same street, lost control, and made impact with all 4 family members. Maria Luna suffered injuries but survived, and the 3 children, of course, did not. Angel was going to be a junior in the computer engineering program at Cal Poly Pomona. His younger brother, Jose Manuel, was going to follow in his footsteps, and their sister, Andrea, was set to start high school. The family has lost all 3 of their children. The family's asking for donations for the funeral arrangements and pleading with family, friends, and the public to help during this horribly tragic event in their lives. There's not much anyone can do or say in a situation, but a simple monetary donation can help the family cope with the expensive financial burden of funeral arrangements. So we're going to post. We did post this on our individual Facebook pages, and we'll post this on our KCAA radio, our KCAA morning show Facebook page. I just, it's not only the funeral arrangements. It's number one, the mom was in an accident too, so she did. There's a physical impact for her.
Yeah.
But how do you go on when your 3 children didn't?
Yeah.
Even if the community's rallying for you, and they are, how do you, how do you get past this? And so, I hope beyond this, I know that her friends and family are around her and supporting her. And the money will help with expenses during this time.
Yeah. Now I want to talk about the driver for a second. Apparently he was a young man too, teenage man, 19 something I think is what I'd read, and He was not arrested at the scene. They don't believe that alcohol was involved. You suggested, and the article did not say, but you suggested, what if it was tweeting, right? Or not tweeting, but texting.
Texting, yeah.
You know, we hear stories about people who have accidents while they're texting, and the police are still investigating. So he may end up facing some charges.
I hope he does.
I hope he does too.
He took the lives of 3 people.
Yeah. And now,
and he actually he slammed into a tree and a brick wall.
Yeah.
I mean, so he was flying.
Yeah. Now, I was 16 years old, and I had a car accident, a head-on collision, and I was deemed to be at fault. I lost control of my vehicle going through a turn, and went across the lane and hit another vehicle. And I carried with me, and nobody died in that accident, but I carried with me a lot of guilt for years from that accident. I can't imagine the driver of that vehicle, right, knowing that he's taken the lives of 3 kids and gravely injured the mother. I mean, what does that do to him as well going forward?
Yeah, because he was only, his name is Leonardo Bravo, and he's from Bloomington.
Yeah.
So he's local, and well, he will carry this forever.
Yeah.
The one feature that I like in one of the upgrades that we've had from Apple, one of the operating system upgrades for our iPhones, is that if you are driving, it actually disables the texting feature.
Yeah.
And you have to physically, it's a 2-step thing to say, I'm not driving. You have to say, I'm not driving, and you have to say it again, and then you can text.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a little irritating when you're when you're the passenger in the car, but not irritating enough to disable that feature. It's an important feature, and it should be on every single cell phone.
I agree. And it's just basically a motion sensor, right? Once the car is moving a certain speed. And actually it's even more than that, because I think mine turns on as soon as I get in the car. So as soon as my phone starts to talk to the car.
Yeah.
Right?
My phone doesn't talk to the car.
Because
it's an older car.
It says, oh, okay, your phone is in the car now, and it immediately goes to that mode.
Well, and your card goes the extra step and says, and actually has a voice comes on and says, don't text and drive, essentially.
Yeah, which is very cool. Very cool.
So
yeah, very, very sad story.
I'm usually not a fan of these GoFundMes because I think people need to buy life insurance and be responsible for themselves. However, in this situation, I think everybody should give $5.
Yeah.
We don't know this family, but again, they lost all of their children.
Yeah.
And it's not only their children, they lost their future grandchildren. They lost their family. And
I was online. I just find myself going through the names of people that have donated, and so many of them are people that I know, and many of them are educators. And I think that also kind of drew me in. Jerry Almendares, the superintendent of Colton School District, donated.
I'm sure these 3.
They were all Colton School.
Colton, they're Bloomington High School, Bloomington, or Ruth O'Harris Middle School. I'm sure.
Yeah. One of my friends who's been teaching summer school in Bloomington, when he heard about the accident, this is before they knew any of the details of the names, said that he dreaded going into summer school yesterday morning because he knew that everyone was going to be talking about it and they would know, and then he would hear, he was hoping it wasn't one of his students. I mean, this is, Bloomington is a small and very close community, and so there's a lot of people over there that are affected by this, and, and Slover Avenue, the cars go racing down there.
They do.
I hope the sheriff's, I think that sheriff's there. I hope the sheriff's department, really gets out there and goes after people and maybe puts in some slowing cautionary things like speed humps or whatever they need to do to slow it down a little bit in those areas.
That would be hard though, because trucks go down slower.
I know.
But if the cops start camping out, like just put somebody there.
Yeah.
At various points during the day and start ticketing people. Ticket. Then people might think twice.
Yeah.
So, with that, we're going to take a break. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
We'll be right back.
This segment of broadcasting brought to you by Tender Hearts TLC Incorporated. Tender Hearts, the helping hands for your loved ones, where they understand it can be difficult to find time in your already busy schedule to attend to all the needs of your aging loved one. Tender Hearts will be there for your loved one when you can't be. Tender Hearts TLC helps your aging loved ones stay in their home as they specialize in tender, loving, 24-hour service, including transportation to doctor's appointments, medication reminders, meal preparation, light housekeeping, and assistance with activities of daily living such as hygiene and grooming, orientation, and companionship. We thank Tender Hearts for their support of this station. Tender Hearts TLC where they don't just care for your loved one, they give them tender, loving care. For more info, you can reach them at 909-528-9759. That's 909-528-9759 for Tender Hearts TLC.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-643-6931 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-643-6931 to take your call now. Call 1-800-643-6931. That's 1-800-643-6931. Again, 1-800-643-6931.
How would you feel if you had to make a choice between buying food or spending your fixed income on life-saving medicine? No one should make that trade-off, but many low-income seniors are forced into difficult decisions like this every day. Smiles for Seniors Foundation provides energy assistance and safety net services to struggling low-income seniors in the Inland Empire. They provide one-time assistance to seniors to meet specific financial needs. They've helped with food, housing, utility payments, minor home and auto repairs, along with life-saving prescriptions or medical equipment. A nonprofit foundation funded entirely by donations from local organizations. Smiles for Seniors receives no funding from the state or federal government. They are funded by local businesses and individuals like you with big hearts and willing wallets. You can find more information or to donate to Smile for Seniors at 909-790-6671. That's 909-790-6671, or visit smilesforseniorsfoundation.org. That's smilesforseniorsfoundation.org.
Drivers, when it's time to visit the DMV, avoid the long lines and save time by calling toll-free 833-DMV-LINE. That's 833-DMV-5463.
Are you tired of arguing about politics? Are you tired of talking about the Kardashians? Well, tune in to Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa every Thursday at 7 on AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and KCAAradio.com.
KCAA, where every day is a great day.
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And you are totally singing this song, aren't you?
I am. I'm whipping it.
To whip it good.
All right, Tobin, you just picked a quick story.
Yeah, so there are so many things going on in the world right now. Apparently, Roseanne gave an interview, and she totally threw herself on her sword and apologized and said that she knows that she did something that's just horrible, and I don't think people care. And she says, I'm going to have to take the consequences. Well, I think she's right. And so this article about Roseanne, it's just, she says she feels remorse and that she's not really racist, that she was on Ambien and she didn't really understand what she was posting.
I think people's capacity to accept bad behavior is diminishing.
Yeah.
So I am so excited to welcome to the show Katya Pansar, who is a writer, editor, and broadcast journalist. She was raised in Canada with stints in the UK and New Zealand, and she's currently based in Helsinki. Oh, that's so cool, where she swims in the cold, cold sea almost every day, year-round. She has written a book, and she talks about the daily practices that makes Finland one of the happiest places to live. So, Katya, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you. Great to be with you guys.
Oh, so what is Finland like? I imagine that it's just glorious.
Well, yeah, that's a very good question because it can be glorious, but like every place on Earth, it can also be, in the midst of a cold, snowy, dark winter. It can also be challenging. But I think that there are very, very many positive aspects to life in Finland. The quality of life, which is, it often ranks high in these international comparisons, and the fact that Helsinki is surrounded by water, and there's a lot of nature, so it's possible to have an urban lifestyle but still, cycle or walk to work, swim in the sea every day, go foraging for berries and mushrooms and things like that on the weekends, and incorporate daily doses of nature into your life.
So your book is The Finnish Way, Finding Courage, Wellness, and Happiness Through the Power of, and I'm probably going to pronounce this wrong, sisu? Is that what it's?
Sisu, that was great. That was perfect. Yeah.
Awesome. So, and you call that forest therapy. And I just spent the weekend in our local mountains, and there is just something about the forest that just feeds the soul.
Definitely, I would agree with you. And I think it's part of so many of us live these virtual lifestyles where we spend a lot of time in a car, in an office, in a virtual environment, and we've lost sight of nature, of a connection to nature, whether it's the water or fresh air, or simply something as basic as just walking in the forest and calming down and looking at the trees and the smell of the forest and the fact that it's not as noisy there, and if you're lucky, you're able to maybe turn off your cell phone, unless you're taking some great pictures of the forest.
Well, here's a thought: turn off your cell phone and get a camera.
Exactly. There's even better thought. And there's also been studies that show how effective it is. Taking just even a 15-minute walk lowers stress levels. 15-minute walk in the woods, that is. Lowers stress levels and calms people down and has a range of benefits that I think are very much needed in our busy, hectic, unnatural world, if I could say that.
Oh, yeah. I couldn't agree more. I have to say there's one of the things about American culture that we're always striving to be more productive, more successful, more. And it's this, that's called the rat race, but really it is. I mean, it's running on this hamster wheel, and we forget that the body, mind, and soul needs more than that.
I definitely agree with you, and I think that was my big revelation when I moved to Finland. Not that I had, Canada has amazing nature, as does the U.S., and I had spent time in many wonderful national parks and beaches and things. But it was a destination on the weekend. It wasn't something that I incorporated into my daily life until I moved to Finland, and I started biking year round. Yes, even when it's -10 and snowing, and swimming in the sea year round, and doing these things which they might sound hardcore to somebody who's not used to them, but they're actually quite easy and part of my daily routine. So, instead of commuting by car, I bike, and being able to do these things, on a daily basis, have that connection with nature, really, really made a huge difference to how I felt physically and mentally, and how I was able to also deal with like work stress, family stress, and all the things that life throws at you. Let's say you're really fatigued, or you have, I've noticed sometimes if I have a headache, it comes actually because I've been on the computer too long. And before I reach for, the Tylenol or the aspirin or whatever, I'm like, I'll just go for a cold dip and see if that does the trick. And 9 times out of 10, it does. And these kinds of realizations made me really rethink lifestyle, what kind of a lifestyle you can have, and how you can do these simple and sensible things that are really accessible to everybody and don't cost that much, but can revamp your wellness, how you feel.
So do you have snow tires on your bike? I'm picturing somebody on the ice on a bicycle.
Yes, I do, actually, and they're very good. They're a very common, popular product in Finland, and actually it's just they're spiked tires, and then you put them on when the icy season starts. And I was flattered beyond belief, or not even flattered, but I was thrilled when my son, who was 8, without any prompting from me, said, "Oh, Mommy, I want to be able to ride year-round too, so can we get winter tires for my bike?" And sure enough, you can get winter tires with, the studded tires for kids' bikes too.
Oh, that's so cool. So
yeah.
So we have some friends who are from Scandinavia, and we've hosted exchange students from Scandinavia. Saunas are very big in many European cultures, and you go. What I've seen is you start in the sauna and you end in an icy cold pool. Do they do that in Finland?
Yeah. Yes, they do. At swimming pools, there's often like a cold pool, but it's not as cold. Usually, it's like 8 to 10, 12 degrees Celsius. But it's very common. These swimming societies, these outdoor swimming societies, or winter swimming societies, that then there is a sauna next to it. So, if you want to spend an hour going back and forth, having a cold dip in a hot sauna and a cold dip in a hot sauna, it's this restorative, kind of meditative state that you enter because you're so relaxed, and of course the cold water sets off all the happy hormones, so you're feeling good and energized. And then the sauna in itself, there's no phones in there. People go in naked, which that's practicing a kind of sisu for people who are not used to that. But everything is stripped away. It's not, nobody is concerned with what someone else does for a living. And because you're sitting there naked, of course, nobody knows if you have a Rolex or a Timex or, so there's this kind of equality and this sense of well-being that comes from doing this very basic thing.
Wow. I never really thought about it that way, but yeah, I guess, you're sitting in there with the suit that God gave you and everybody's the same.
Yeah, and I think, I don't have statistics for this, and I won't claim that Finns don't have body image problems or that there aren't eating disorders, but my sense is that people spend a lot less time obsessing about. They may not be happy with their body image and I wish I could do this or that, but it's not an obsession of finding the next diet, the next extreme exercise program. And I think part of that is partly because of all of these kind of simple and sensible ways that people stay healthy. But I think it's also the sauna. If you grow up seeing people naked, it's not a big deal. You see people come in all shapes and sizes, and nobody's checking anybody out. It's not. There's no element of that. You grow up perhaps with a more realistic expectation, that bodies come in all shapes and sizes, and not the ones that we see, in on Instagram or in magazines or on television.
Wow, I think everybody needs to get your book, because we need to shift how we think about the world and how we fit in it. And this book sounds fantastic. So where do people get it? And are you on social media?
I am on social media. I'm on Instagram, and I'm on Facebook, and on Twitter. And I also have a website. And I have to admit that I have just, because in my career I've worked as a freelancer for other media outlets. So I've done all of the social media on their behalf. So I've only recently joined Instagram, but I got about almost 300 followers in a week or two.
Oh, that's great.
3 weeks ago that I joined. Yeah. So I'm totally in love with Instagram. and yes, I can be found on social media, and will be there even more as time goes on, because there's just so much. People seem to be really interested in just images with little captions on Instagram about the Finnish lifestyle.
Well, Katja Pansar, we are over time, but thank you so much for joining us. The book is The Finnish Way, Finding Courage, Wellness, and Happiness Through the Power of Sisu. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And
Take care.
Thank you, you too. So it's time for a break. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we will be right back.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, K292 FQ Riverside, and K293 CF Moreno Valley.
NBC News Radio, I'm Lisa Carter. President Trump sounding off on immigration at a campaign rally in Columbia, South Carolina last night, doubling down on his call to deport illegal immigrants immediately without going before a judge. He also said his advisors say 5,000 new judges are needed to process people crossing the border.
I don't want judges. I want ICE and Border Patrol agents. That's what I want.
Immigration could be a topic when President Trump hosts members of Congress for lunch this afternoon at the White House. Protesters in D.C. tried to target the president's top immigration policy advisor, but he wasn't home. Fewer than 24 people marched to Stephen Miller's apartment building in downtown Washington yesterday. They chanted, "Immigrants are welcome here." Miller was with Trump at the rally in South Carolina. And primary elections happening in several states today: New York, Colorado, Maryland, Oklahoma, and Utah, with runoff elections in South Carolina and Mississippi. Lisa Carter, NBC News Radio.
It's time for traffic on KCAA. I'm Erin Brinker. In Temecula on the 15 southbound after the 79 South Temecula Parkway, there's a motorcycle crash on the left shoulder with stop-and-go traffic backed up from the 215. This has been your traffic report on KCAA. We are the stations that leave no listener behind.
From the KCAA Weather Center, I'm Alvin Washington. This morning, sunny and hot, a high of 92. Later this evening, we're looking at clear skies, a low 61. Sunny and hot on Wednesday, high 91. Clear 60 Wednesday night. And for Thursday, sunny and hot 92. I'm Alvin Washington, broadcasting live from the Tri-City Center at the 10 and 210 freeways. We are the trifecta of talk in Southern California, KCAA, 102.3 FM Riverside, 106.5 FM Redlands, and the Legacy 1050 AM Loma Linda, San Bernardino.
Whether you swing a hickory shaft Massey Niblick or the latest titanium hybrid, golf is your game, and the Boy Scouts need you. To be specific, the California Inland Empire Council of the Boy Scouts of America need your help in joining them for their 10th annual Golf Classic at Los Sureños Golf Club in Chino Hills on Friday, August 10th. A continental breakfast and a lunch are included, and we tee off at 7:45 a.m. Proceeds will help to offer young people responsible fun and adventure.
KCAA invites you to join Dr. Donald Gabriel Jolly for What's It All About. He's never without words.
I have an opinion about everything.
He talks about everything.
You can say, I love you, and be fired by the power of the crotch instead of the real meaning of love. You have an illness. It is called terminal acute hornitis.
Join Dr. Jolly for What's It All About, 3 o'clock Wednesday afternoon on KCAA 1050 AM.
Broadcasting more local radio programs than any other station in California, we are KCAA.
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on The Brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050, FM 106.5, and FM 102.3. I love this song. Little Sinead O'Connor.
She's bald.
Yes. Although I don't know that she's bald anymore. I have no idea. She was bald then.
Yeah.
It was a protest thing, the whole Irish, thing.
Yes.
Because there were troubles back then.
Troubles back then, huh?
Yes.
It's all fixed now?
Yeah, nobody's blowing anything up. The IRA's not doing anything horrible. Horrible.
So they can let their hair grow back. That's awesome.
Now, she can let... Oh, God, Tobin. I have no idea how to respond to that.
I'm imagining all these bald Irish kids are like suddenly happy. Like, I can grow my hair.
Okay, that was just her. You too is Irish. They didn't shave their heads.
Maybe they should have.
Maybe.
Maybe things would have ended
But Bono
quicker.
had great hair.
Maybe things would have ended quicker, Aaron, if Bono had shaved his head.
I'm thinking not.
No.
No. This is, yes, they were real issues. They were not issues about whether Bono had hair.
You're right.
God.
You're right. I'm
What
wrong.
a weird turn this show just took.
I'm feeling weird today. I don't know why.
Because it's summer? I don't know.
Yeah.
So, you know, what with Sarah Huckabee Sanders, you know, being basically kicked out of a restaurant. Not basically, she was kicked out of a restaurant.
Yes, she was.
What do you think about that? And while you do that, I'm going to answer the phone.
Yeah, so listen, there's been a wide variety of opinions about this. Some folks, of course, are saying that it's a good thing that, you know, that if you have a legitimate political beef with this administration, then you need to stand up and do whatever you have to do to let your opinion be heard. But on the flip side of this, and I think this is kind of where I fall, is that we've gone too far, right? That I view the whole Sarah Sanders thing as a sort of a second-tier issue. You got a problem with Trump, take it up with Trump. Don't take it up with Sarah Sanders. She's just doing a job, right? And I know that all these folks will say, oh, it's like the Nazis. You know, that's their excuse. I was just doing a job. But literally, she's just a spokesperson who's just giving the company line, so to speak, for Trump administration. And to treat her the way that she was treated, I think, really crosses the line.
Well, and then to go even beyond that, Maxine Waters really went beyond the pale.
Yeah, calling for, you know, people to disrupt and attack any Trump administration employee. And I just, you know, so it definitely for me is a slippery slope. And what happens when you do these sorts of attacks on people is that the only people that will then go into government are the people that are the most extreme, right? Because they're the only ones that are sort of willing to put up with that. And so anyone who has any sort of sense of decency stays out.
Well, Maxine Waters, specifically her calling out, asking people to be that confrontational. What she's doing is she's asking people to verbally assault, and you know that some people will cross that line.
Yes, they
physically
will.
assault people they don't like politically.
Yeah.
I mean, a rational person would say, call your congressman.
Yeah.
You know, remember to get out there and register to vote. Get out there and, you know, remember to vote.
Yes.
But instead, she's essentially calling for violence. That's insane. Now, she's never been the sharpest tool in the shed, but now I think she's lost her mind.
Well, I agree, and it's interesting that others on the far left are not supporting her. Nancy Pelosi put out a statement that said, I don't agree and that we shouldn't be attacking these people like that and disavowing it because, you know, here's what I think happens, and I think this is part of Trump's strategy, is to get the left so amped up that they behave badly, that this then helps him to turn out the people on the right, and I think this is how he thinks he wins.
Well, he's not wrong, Tobin.
No, I know.
It fires at people on both sides, and I'm seeing more and more rhetoric on Facebook that about people saying, well, there's going to be a civil war.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Just stop it. This is not Nazi Germany, folks. Nobody is being put in gas chambers. Nobody is going to concentration camps.
Yeah.
Yes, they are separating families, but it was happening under the Obama administration, too. That doesn't make it right, but it also doesn't mean Trump's a monster.
Yes.
I mean, it doesn't, you know.
Thank you.
Come on.
Thank you.
So with that, with all of the stress that's going on in the world, I want to welcome back Michelle Harris from Alive and Well TV, and she's going to tell us how to deal with it. Hey, Michelle, how you doing?
I'm doing great, and it sounds like, you know what, we really all need a break from the stress.
We really do.
And Michelle, Aaron and I just got everyone's cardiovascular going really good for you. Just then.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for that. That's not the way I want to get people, their hearts racing. I want them to get out and do some exercise.
Amen, sister. Let's do it.
And that's actually one of the first things that I wanted to talk about because everyone has stress. I don't think I know anyone who doesn't have stress. So we all deal with it to different degrees. But one of the best things that you can do for stress is exercise. It's one of the best things for our health, but also for stress. There's been times, you know, when I've been moving and things like that. And so I've personally, really had to deal with some things that help me with my stress, especially because I tend to be type A, so not the best for stress either. So making yourself get out there and work up a sweat, it kind of burns up that extra energy. And that way you're using your energy for something positive instead of for something that is basically non-productive. So hit the gym, take a walk, go for a hike, whatever it is you need to do. I don't care if it's sitting in your living room doing jumping jacks, but just burn it off.
Yep.
That's one of the first things you can do. And then kind of heading in the opposite direction is meditation. And it's something that I do most mornings. It's very helpful if you want to be more creative, more clear in your thoughts, but it also helps to reduce stress. And I'm sure you're familiar with director David Lynch.
Yes.
He is a really big proponent of using meditation to help with every aspect of your life, but it's been proven that it's very effective in reducing stress. And meditation is something that if you're doing it correctly, you actually have to practice. It's not just sitting cross-legged like most people think. So I highly recommend that you visit, he has a website, which is the davidlynchfoundation.org. And it's all about using transcendental meditation. And I know it sounds like something from, our parents' generation, like from the 60s or something like that, but it is a wonderful technique to really clear the mind and reduce stress, and it makes you feel incredible. The benefits are just tremendous, and actually his foundation is a nonprofit that helps bring it to poorer locations, school children, because it does also help to improve academics.
Huh.
So it's just, brain, not only stress, but brain health is so important, and stress negatively impacts our brain. So this is something that you can do to, again, do something positive, not only for stress, but our brains. It's funny that in health and wellness, everything's connected.
It really is, and I have to say I'm a devout Christian, and transcendental meditation is kind of a no-no for me. But for Christians who are interested in meditation, there's a whole book called the Bible that you pick a scripture and you pray about it and you ruminate on it and you essentially are meditative with that scripture. What is the Lord trying to say to you? And so, regardless of your faith, there are ways that you can calm the body and the mind.
Oh, actually, transcendental meditation has no religious philosophy.
Yeah, but the Christian church really says you shouldn't do it. So.
Oh, okay. Well, there's other forms of meditation as well. Yeah, I wasn't aware that there was any kind of religious connotation to it, but there's other types of meditation you can do in yoga and things like that, too, that'll kind of put you in a very relaxed state.
Which is wonderful. Yeah, that's terrific.
And then if you're into supplements, there is, and by the way, I went to Catholic school, so
well, and I have no judgment. I mean, we live in a diverse, free society. People worship how they want to worship. I just was throwing out there that for those of you for whom that's not an option, there's other ways.
Right, and like I said, I wasn't aware of any religious connotation with that form of meditation or any of the other ones that I've practiced. So, but getting on to supplements, which supplements are wonderful for stress. I am not someone who says, just regardless of what type of pill it is, take a supplement or a medication without doing these other things, because they're all designed to work together, but supplements can be very, very helpful at reducing stress. And one of the supplements that I like, and you can look for it in different formulations, is called L-theanine, and that's an amino acid that comes from tea. It actually comes from green tea, and it helps to naturally reduce those calming brain chemicals like serotonin and dopamine. So, that's why people recommend green tea, but the great thing about L-theanine is most green tea is caffeinated, and so that kind of goes against reducing the stress.
Right.
Because that's something that we want to do to reduce stress, is avoiding caffeine. So you can drink decaffeinated green tea, but it still won't have as much of that one amino acid, L-theanine, as a supplement will. And also magnesium. Magnesium, you can get it from food, but if you want a more concentrated dose, magnesium is an actual muscle relaxant.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so if you're working out a lot, that's a great supplement to take if you cramp up and things like that after workouts. But because it helps to calm the muscles, it helps to relax the body. And so I find that those are wonderful supplements. There's actually a formula that I like to take called Cortisol Manager. I may have mentioned it before because it's one of my favorites, and I think it's so effective. And that has the L-theanine, plus it has other ingredients that help with stress reduction. And I don't know if you're aware of something called biofeedback.
You know what? I've heard about it. Cal State San Bernardino has a biofeedback or neurofeedback lab. So, yeah, I think I've not done it, but I have heard that it's beneficial.
It is tremendously beneficial. It is a great deal of work because it's something you have to go on a regular basis to kind of learn the technique. It usually takes a few months, but it's definitely worth it. If you're someone who's prone to anxiety attacks, or they also use it for people who have severe pain, burn victims, and things like that, because what it is it utilizes a computer to monitor your body functions, such as sweat, temperature, heartbeat, things like that. And they teach you techniques where you can relax what is normally thought of as an involuntary muscle, like your heart. So if you have a problem, you have anxiety attacks, and your heart starts to race, they get you to a point where you learn that you can relax everything in your body, and your heart will actually slow down. It's pretty amazing.
Oh, my gosh, that's so cool.
And the computer lets you know, if you're doing it correctly. So that's why it's important. You have to keep working at it. It's not a technique that you're going to get. It's like a learned experience for your body. But if you have a variety of conditions, but one of them is very useful for is anxiety and panic attacks, in addition to, extreme trauma and things like that. But it's incredibly effective, and I don't think people recommend it enough. We've used it. We've done a segment on it, rather, on the show, on Alive and Well. And I just thought it was an incredible treatment protocol myself.
So I know that it works on PTSD, or on veterans who have PTSD. That they do it, and they're able to find new ways of dealing with the trauma. The trauma is still there. And the thing about PTSD is that they get back to they are triggered and sent back to the place where the trauma occurred, and that loop becomes, they're stuck in it, right? So they stay in that place of fear and anxiety, and the neurofeedback or biofeedback teaches them how to get around that. I mean, it's still there, but it's not going to control them anymore.
Exactly. You learn to control what it's doing to your body, and it's just incredible. They use it for people who have fibromyalgia, PTSD, like you were saying. There's so many ways that you can use biofeedback. So it's, again, a great way to reduce stress. And if they have it at Cal State San Bernardino, that's wonderful, because a lot of times when I did it myself, it was at a university program, and it makes it much more reasonable.
Yes.
Than if you had to go seek a medical practitioner.
Well, this is awesome. So we are out of time. Tell people how they can find Alive and Well TV and follow you on social media, etc.
Well, you can go to our website, aliveandwell.tv, and then that way you can link to all our social media and just check your local listings for Alive and Well. We're nationwide on DirecTV, locally or on KVVB, and you can check your listings if you're listening somewhere else.
Well, Michelle, as always, it's been a treat to have you on today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, and I hope I helped to reduce everyone's stress this morning.
You absolutely did. You absolutely did.
Okay, hopefully I was very calming.
That's good, because Tobin and I, before that, we weren't.
No.
So.
Okay, are you calmer now?
Yes.
So, all right.
All right.
Glad to hear it. Thanks.
Take care. Thanks so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, so it's time for a break. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on The Brink, the morning show on KCAA. We'll be right back.
And now, Inland Empire Today with Blake Trolley.
Right now is a very exciting time for 5 Seconds of Summer, as the band is having quite a bit of success on their latest album. Let's check in with Lisa G.
No matter how long you're gone, I'm always gonna want you back.
5 Seconds of Summer's new album, Young Blood, is officially #1. The record just topped the Billboard 200 albums chart a week after its release. Young Blood is the Australian boy band's third album and their third Billboard 200 #1. The title track, Young Blood, also just reached #3 on the Billboard Hot 100. That's entertainment. Lisa G., NBC News Radio.
Are you or a loved one suffering from an addiction? If so, help is available. Many people are getting help from a recovery center called Sheer Recovery. You can call Sheer Recovery now at 888-SHEER-51. That's 888-743-3751. If you have insurance, your treatment may be covered at little to no cost. Most importantly, you can't lose your job because you decide to get help. Sheer Recovery is staffed with professionals who understand addictions and how to treat addictions. They understand what an addicted person goes through every day. So if you or a loved one are suffering from an addiction, it's time to call Sheer Recovery at 888-SHEER-51. That's 888-743-3751. A better life begins with Sheer Recovery. Call 888-743-3751 or go online at www.sheerrecovery.com.
This is Dick from Carpet Masters. Carpet Masters has been serving the Inland Empire for over 55 years. Carpet Masters uses extraction cleaning for your carpet because there's no better cleaning to remove the soil from your carpet. All of our furniture cleaning is done by hand in your home or in our plant. Carpet Masters also offers dry cleaning for fine furniture. Call Carpet Masters at 793-7215. That's 793-7215 for Carpet Masters.
The Tri-City Shopping Center in Redlands is serving up some really cool ice cream at La Micho Acana. Then get your chocolates and other delights from C's Candies. Moms and future moms who visit the mall can cool off and relax while they get treated like royalty at Shiny Nails or Francis Nails and then pampered at Texture Hair. The Tri-City Center is filled with retailers who care about you. Shop at the Tri-City Center in Redlands and see why they call it the Mall with a Heart.
Join me, Stephanie Miller, every weekday for the antidote to cantankerous conservatives. And if they don't like it, too bad. It's on KCAA.
Weekday mornings from 7 to 8.
10:50 a.m. and 106.5 FM.
We can't be everything to everyone, or can we? The station that leaves no listener behind, KCAA.
I was only joking when I said I'd like to mash every tooth in your head. Oh, sweetness, sweetness, I was only joking when I said by rights you should be bludgeoned in your bed. And now I know how Joan of Arc felt. Now I know how Joan of Arc.
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are On the Brink, the morning show on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and FM 102.3. And you just sent me an article about the Supreme Court.
Yeah, so, we're at the end of the session, and they're coming up with all kinds of great rulings. But this one has not been decided yet, but it's an issue that's important to all of us. The Supreme Court's going to decide if civil forfeiture is unconstitutional and violates the 8th Amendment.
So we've talked about civil asset forfeiture. It's where the cops take your belongings.
Yeah.
And they don't necessarily need probable cause. They pull you over and they can take your stuff. And we've seen this happen. It's been abused in some jurisdictions. East Texas, I guess, is one of the really bad areas.
Yeah. Now, the case that's actually made its way is actually out of Indiana. And this is the first time in 20 years that the Supreme Court will actually review the constitutionality of civil forfeiture laws. And in this specific case, a guy by the name of Tyson Timms was forced to forfeit his $40,000 Land Rover in civil court to the state of Indiana after he pled guilty to selling less than $200 worth of drugs.
That's ridiculous.
Right? Now, what happened is this guy was an addict, addicted to opioids, and He was caught selling heroin, 4 grams of heroin, to undercover officers back in 2013. He agreed to serve 1 year of house arrest and pay $1,200 in court fees, but the state also wanted his Land Rover. And now he bought the Land Rover with life insurance proceeds when his father had died, and he, of course, wants to keep his truck. And under Indiana state law, a felony conviction could trigger a maximum fine of $10,000, right? And, of course, the truck is worth $40,000, so 4 times that. And so when he appealed this decision to take his truck, the first court said, hey, you're right. This is excessive. It's way above what the law allows them to take from you. And so he won. Then he went to the next level of appellate court, and they also agreed. No, you get to keep your truck. But then it went to the Indiana Supreme Court, and their ruling just boggles the mind. The Indiana Supreme Court basically said that the 14th Amendment does not apply, or I'm sorry, the 8th Amendment, ban on excessive bail and cruel and unusual punishment, does not apply to the state of Indiana.
That's ridiculous.
To state laws.
Okay, well then no federal law applies to any state. Then I understand that it says Congress shall make no law, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But then Roe v. Wade doesn't apply.
Right.
Then none of these. If that's the case, then the federal law is essentially been gutted.
Right.
All federal laws.
I'm right there with you. And so now it's going to the Supreme Court, and that's essentially the question that they're going to answer, right? Is does the 8th Amendment apply to states?
Of course it does.
Yes.
Of course it does.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, shame on you, Indiana.
I know, right? Now, what's interesting to me is all of the different groups that are weighing in on this case, and it's across the spectrum, and they're all on the side of this kid, Tyson, right? And so he filed his petition with the U.S. Supreme Court, and he's getting support from the Southern Poverty Law Center, the Cato Institute, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, the National Association for Criminal Defense Lawyers. I mean, this is everybody and their brothers jumping on board to say, yeah, he's right, of course this applies. Because this is a big deal. I mean, agencies have literally confiscated millions and millions of dollars worth of private individual stuff without them ever, in many cases, without them ever actually being convicted of anything. And in this case, even though he was convicted, this is extremely excessive, right?
Yes.
This is extremely excessive when you think about what the crime was.
It's just theft.
It is.
It's theft. They should if they still have his car, and I didn't read the article because you just sent it to me.
Yeah.
Have his truck. If they've kept his truck, well, they need to pay him for all that time they had his truck,
Yes.
interest and penalties and all of that. They stole it.
Well, and he talks about how hard it is by them doing this, how hard it is for him to redeem himself, right? To get to work, to get to the meetings, the drug meetings that he's supposed to go to, AA or whatever, NA, and so it's just a mess. This whole thing's a mess.
So we are out of time. I'm Erin Breaker.
And I'm Tobin Breaker.
Have a wonderful day, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.
There's life underground.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and now 102.3 FM.
I'm Chuck Kamlick, CNBC. For the first time in
now,
107 years, General Electric is not part of the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Walgreens replaces GE today because it represents, GE does, past economies, not the current one. GE's also spinning off its healthcare business, getting out of Baker Hughes, the oil service company, too. Dow futures flat this morning. Lennar built and sold more homes on the East Coast especially. Profits up 45%, home prices up 10% at Lennar. But overall, home prices for the country were up 6.4% in April, still rising faster than worker pay. A court will let Uber know today if it can hit the roads in London again or not. Owens Corning's building a plant in China where it will make glass fiber to use in the blades of wind turbines. Glass fiber makes those blades lighter. And if you'd like to travel to Europe, like to drink Jack Daniels while you're there, Jack prices going up 10% because of tariffs. Chuck Kamlick, CNBC.
I used to have a sweet tooth. Had it removed when I was a kid. So what do I crave instead of chocolate? A big red box from Grainger. Grainger satisfies my craving for great customer service with 24/7 support, effortless ordering, and same-day pickup or next-day delivery options. No busy signals, no cavities. I love Grainger. You know why? Because when it comes to reliable product and technical support, Grainger's got your back. Call or click Grainger.com to see for yourself. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Attention all authors. Page Publishing is looking for authors. Have you written a book and want to get it published? Page Publishing will get your book into bookstores and for sale online at Amazon, Apple iTunes, and other outlets. They handle all aspects of the publishing process for you. Printing, cover art, publicity, copyright, and editing. Call 800-501-3689 now for your free author submission kit. That's 800-501-3689 for your free author submission kit. Again, 800-501-3689.
And now, the Inland News Update with Blake Trolley.
Another earthquake in the San Jacinto Fault Zone, strong enough to be felt. It jiggled much of southwest Riverside County early Sunday. The M3.0 Temblor struck between Hemet and Anza and was felt from Palm Springs into North San Diego County. A motorist was killed Thursday night when he sped through a stop sign at a Riverside intersection and crashed his car into a palm tree. Jesus Garcia, 44, of Riverside, was declared dead at a local hospital. With the Inland News Update, I'm Blake Trolley.
It's time for traffic on KCAA. I'm Erin Brinker. In Corona on the 91 westbound before 6th Street, a crash is now in the center divider. There's stop-and-go traffic backed up from the 15. The 71 south is heavy from Euclid down to the 91. In Temecula on the 15 southbound after the 79 South Temecula Parkway, a motorcycle crash is on the left shoulder. There's stop-and-go traffic backed up from the 215 south. And in Chino Hills on the 71 southbound before Grand Avenue, a grass fire is flaring up along the right shoulder. This has been your traffic report on KCAA. We are the stations that leave no listener behind. I'm Erin Brinker. This report is brought to you by Stater Brothers. Have your groceries from Stater Brothers delivered with Instacart. Go to StaterBrothers.com and tap Instacart. Available in most locations, but restrictions apply. Stater Brothers, where you always get more for less.
If you or a loved one was seriously injured in an accident with a semi-truck or an 18-wheeler truck, you need to act fast. I'm attorney Daniel Rudbari. I know how to fight truck companies. Call me 800-325-1454 for your free consultation. 800-325-1454. Truck accident cases are different than an auto versus auto accident. There are so many more issues involved when dealing with a truck accident case. There are federal regulations and state regulations, several different companies that may be involved. I can immediately gather the evidence, get you the medical care you need with no deductible and no copay to you, and get you the compensation and the money you deserve for your injuries. And if there's no recovery, there's no fees charged to you. I'm attorney Daniel Rudbari. I know how to fight truck companies. Call me 800-325-1454 for your free consultation. 800-325-1454.
You're listening to The Rant Line. For Phil's Gang, please hold.
Just heard a piece of an ad for Phil's Gang on KCAA, and wow, back about 2005, I found myself out of work, and one of the things I was doing was KCAA was playing Phil's Gang, and he was predicting in 2005 a collapse of the housing market. Well, I ended up getting a job in the glass business, and things were pretty good until a collapse in the housing market caused, my job to go bankrupt, and I ended up chasing a bachelor's degree and got a master's degree just now. 2 weeks ago, got my master's degree in the mail. But this Phil's Gang feller, he was talking about how people had the teaser rates with their mortgages and that the whole thing was going to collapse. Y'all have a good day.
Call the KCAA Rent Line, 909-353-1050.
Listen to Phil's Gang right here, 1 p.m. weekdays on KCAA.
Did you know that 80 to 85% of children's brains are developed by the time they are 3 years old? The San Bernardino City Unified School District is sponsoring free parenting education classes for families of children ages 0 to 36 months. Classes include free childcare, a light meal, children's books to take home, and weekly giveaways. Graduates earn a certificate of completion. For more information, please visit www.infanttoddlersuccess.org or call 909-347-7313.
KCAA, where every day is a great day. I'm Stephanie Miller.
It's the Stephanie Miller Show.